I don't know if Rochelle was going to try to do it or not. I'll trade you. You got it. So you're going. Perfect. Did you get the bowls? I didn't. You want to grab one off the? You want to grab one off the? It should be right on the dash.
I didn't see it, but
you didn't see it?
No, yeah, I'll look.
Yeah. See if you can find it. Otherwise we'll buy one here. We're at the right place to buy one. So, welcome everybody. So, Sierra's live on hers, and these guys I think are live on the Mighty Pet website. So, first off, thank you for coming. I want to thank Rochelle and Jason for having us. My name's Jeremy Moore. So we've got a company. They just picked up our products. So we met. We started talking with the guys, the people from Mighty Pet here, about a month or two ago. We met them at a trade show down in Florida about 4 weeks ago, and they decided that they wanted to pick up our training products, our line of training products for training dogs. And they said, would you be interested in coming to the store? Now, I don't live very far from here. So I live in Pulaski. If you're familiar with Wisconsin, I live in Pulaski, 40 minutes from here maybe. We tried to schedule a time to come up here, so I really appreciate their flexibility. If you guys want chairs, we got more chairs here too. So I appreciate their flexibility with fitting us in. They said, would you be able to come in sometime in May? And we've been on the road since January 6th doing a seminar, a workshop, doing something on the weekend with our dogs every weekend since January 6th. So we've been booked up. And I said we couldn't fit it in May, but we're doing a Whitetails Unlimited event tonight in Green Bay. And I said, why don't we come here in the morning, do this, and then we'll spin down to that tonight. So that's what, short notice, and I appreciate you guys coming off of that short notice. So my name is Jeremy Moore. We've got a company, it's called DogBone. Does training products for shed hunting and tracking. Now that puppy that just left is Fee, is her name, belongs to Chris Smith, the guy who's walking her. She's a sister to this one. So before I get into it real far, and I'll kind of give you a nickel tour of how we get to this point, who we are, why we're doing this. But whenever I do a seminar, I'm I should do it this way. So first off, it's really informal. I don't have a routine. I don't do seminars where I get up and I've got a choreographed thing where I show how exciting this is to be shed hunting. Who came here to see the shed part of it? Because if we advertised it as Shed Training Basics, that was how it was advertised. Who came here specifically with the idea of the shed training? That was what got them. A couple people. Just good. So, are you guys just shopping? People that didn't come here for that, are you just shopping and you happen to be here, or did you come here for this? You were here? Came here for this, okay? The reason I ask that is I'm always trying to learn stuff, trying to figure stuff out. Now, as a dog trainer, I think that's really important. I'm always reading. So I'm going to start this out and I give all my tips away. I'm reading the crowd. I've got a smart one right here in the corner. Because I just asked, hey, where's the bathroom? Oh, there's a sign over there. It says restroom. It goes right there. I go, oh, okay. Mental note. That one's sharp. Okay. So I'm always reading the crowd. Okay. The reason I'm always reading the crowd is because I got to figure out how to keep your attention for the next hour. I did a seminar at Cabela's in Rogers, Minnesota, about a month or two ago, scheduled for an hour. We went there, we spent the day, similar to this. We scheduled two of them. We scheduled the seminar at 11 and the seminar at 2 o'clock. We started the one at 11, full, every chair was full. It was a great crowd, people were excited, they all saw it on Facebook. They all saw it on our social media, so they were all there for that reason. We started at 11 with the intentions of being done by noon, go back downstairs, talk about product stuff, come back at 2, do another one, be done at 3, store closed, we're on our way. We started at 11, we got done at 1:45 with the seminar. So it just went and went. And the reason it went and went and went was because not one single person left. Instead, there were a couple people that continued to come in, and when I talked, I saw everybody's eyes. And it was like, I read this crowd and I just kept getting energy. We kept going. Now, if people get up 15 minutes into this and all head out, I'll wrap it up real quick because I'll read the crowd. So I'm always reading. Now, why does that matter? Because whenever I'm training this dog, or training that dog, or training that dog, the first thing I have to do is be able to figure out how to read them. I'm reading a really nice dog right here. Really, really calm, really patient. The dog's been sitting there for 10, 15 minutes now. Not making a fuss, not whining, not going, Mom, I want to go, who's? So I'll back up because I really get going. You'll be able to tell I get going. Now I'm fast. Like I talk really fast. I think really fast. Not always well, but I think fast, I process stuff fast. It's a weakness of mine when it comes to dog training. So when you see me talk, I get going, boom, 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 boom. Because I'm from around this area. I think it's a cultural thing. The people in the Midwest go, gotta be efficient, gotta get a lot of stuff done. These dogs, when I start working with the dogs, you're gonna see me change. Everything about me is gonna change. Like right now, I'm uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable for me right now. Now, I get dogs from the south. These dogs come from a kennel down in Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi. Down there, they do things very different. It's just a cultural thing. It's a regional thing. Things move slower in this. Anyone here from the south? Before I get too far into this, anyone here from the south? I'm safe. No, I guarantee you, people will make comments. I am from the south. They'll chime in on Facebook. It's not a negative thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just different. So we're wired differently. We're wired to really be efficient and fast in our culture right now. How quick can we get stuff done? So when you go down there, things slow down, and that's what I like about it. They get a lot of stuff done with dogs quicker than we can because they go slow. So when I work with the dogs, you're going to see that. But here's my story. So years ago, I had a dog. So for those who's got dogs here? If you don't have a dog and you're here on Saturday, nothing's going on in Menominee, okay? But I will go back to the idea of reading the crowd. I want to finally get a feel for the crowd. So you don't have dogs? You guys are getting one. Your dad's getting one, right?
I have a dog.
You got one?
Dog, yeah.
What do you got?
I have a husky.
Husky. How old?
1 year.
What do you do with it? Anything right now?
Yeah, I mean, I do the normal training commands.
Sure. Obedience type stuff?
Yeah.
Yep. Are you looking to get it into the hunting part?
Yeah.
Okay. Tracking, shed hunting, combination both?
Shed hunting, maybe tracking.
Sure.
Chris wants to get into tracking.
Totally should. Totally should. I don't think you limit dogs to one thing. I don't think you... I'm big on lots of stuff. So, before I go through, so what kind of dog do you have? Are you, now you just came into the store?
I didn't actually. This is my daughter.
Yeah.
This is her dog and she lives here.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
But
Welcome.
we have a multitude.
Yeah, okay. Are you two together? You three?
Together. I
The
work
three
here.
of you?
No, I'm by myself.
Okay, okay.
I work here and
Okay.
I came here for this so I
Sure.
can learn from you, so
Sure.
I can teach and educate others. And I do have a puppy myself, a
What kind of
standard
dog?
poodle.
Standard poodle?
Yes.
Now what do we have
brother
here?
to her.
Standard poodle. There's a connection there?
Yeah, we didn't know, but
Yeah.
our dogs have the same mother.
Okay.
So
Sure. Awesome.
I actually have two dogs, but
Small world.
first one's a princess, the second one's still a puppy, so
They're all
I might be able to do
princesses.
something with
Sure.
him.
They're all princesses. These are princesses. Just depends on what day of the week. But so you're back here by yourself.
Yeah.
What do you got for dogs?
I've got a boxer Red Bull and Coonhound mix. She's
Box.
11 months old.
Boxer, Red Bull, Coonhound mix. 11 months old?
Yeah.
Excellent. And ages are great too. How old? Yours is how old?
Mine is about 5 months.
5 months. Beautiful. Okay. This one's about 5 months. So we're kind of in the same boat. And I think age is important. And we'll get into that a little bit. What do you guys have? Shepherd. Great dogs. What do you guys do with your dog? How old?
6 months. We're looking
6 months.
to try to
Yeah. Beautiful.
German Shepherd, 11 months.
Shepherd, 11 months. Okay. I love it. What do we got here?
3 months.
3 months. Beautiful. Right here.
A chocolate lab. 2 years old.
2 years? Okay, you might have the old timer in the group. That's strange. I mean, I think it's great because I think if a lot of people, I'll talk about that in a minute. I get what my mind goes. Okay.
Yeah, blue tick beagle
Blue tick beagle
for game recovery.
for tracking and how old?
2 years.
2 years.
11-month-old Springer Spaniel.
11-month-old Springer. 9 months? 9-month-old Springer.
We have a 3-year-old lab.
3-year-old lab. Okay. And then I got a little fee over here. 18 weeks, right? We've got a pup over here, 18 weeks. And Chris has done a nice job. I'm reading Chris all the time. Chris is a good friend of mine. I'll just put that out, disclaimer. But that puppy is a sister to this puppy. Identical. Very different personalities. We're going to get into that as we get going. But I like what Chris did because to start this out, Chris is really, Chris, do you mind if I just pick on you a little bit? Got thick skin. You know, I'm a Bears fan and I live in Green Bay, so I've got thick skin. I can take it. I've done it for a long time.
You're an
But
inspiration.
I'm what?
You're an inspiration.
Inspiration, motivate, you can call it whatever you want. Chris is a guy that is really, I think, I know it because we've had a lot of conversations. Chris is really concerned and very conscious of, he wants to make sure that when I see him with his dog, because it's a puppy of one of my dogs and it's a puppy of one that I'm training, he's really conscious of, he wants to make sure that I'm proud of that. He doesn't want to let me down. And I need to tell him, that doesn't matter. Like that in the back of your head is going to create a huge roadblock. It's going to make things harder. So what I do like about what Chris has done is Chris got Fee in, and Fee was excited. You guys, some of you guys saw that. I put her at place and she broke twice, Chris. Zero tolerance. We're going to talk about zero tolerance. So she broke off place. Now her sister here has been on it since roughly 10 o'clock when we got here. She's not coming off. I'll leave the town and come back. She's not coming off there unless someone calls her off. She's too little. She'll make a mistake. Most people probably won't be able to call this one off her place. Just because she's so solid on it, she'll go, no, I'm not supposed to come off of there. I can get her off. She's a little hesitant, but she will come off of it. I won't call this one off because the last thing I want to do is start creating gray area in her mind of, should I stay on or should I get off? Should I stay on or should I get off? Focus and attention is really important. What's this little pup's name?
Luna.
Luna. Luna right now is getting to the point where she's going, there's so much stuff going on right now. There's a bazillion, look at what is behind us here. We've got this is Willy Wonka's chocolate factory to these dogs, and I'm trying to get them to focus right here. Then I add in the mix of kettle corn. Then I add in the mix of 20 new people that I've never seen or smelled before, and 3 or 4 of them are holding on to strange dogs. So Luna's going overload. So what Chris did with Fee is really nice, and look at what he's gotten out of her. By God, she's starting to settle. But he's taken her away from all of this stuff and physically separated. Okay? I think disassociation is punishment to a dog. It's not very harsh, but when a dog can't listen, when a dog can't focus, sometimes the best punishment, the best way for them to understand. And when I say punishment, I don't mean it's harsh. I just mean it's teaching them a correction. It's disassociation. Just take them away. Because my dog wants to be a part of this. But if she wouldn't settle and she didn't do this, I couldn't do this with her. So that's a big picture thing. But, so back to my little story. Shed training part of it. How did we get to where we are right now? These are our products. So this is a kit. And this isn't going to be a product thing. So if you're going, oh Christ, here comes the infomercial. No, I promise you that. What I want to do is show you why we're here. Okay? This is a product that I came out with and a cat did 7 years ago, 8 years ago. It'll be coming up on 8 years. The reason is because I'm a big believer, and this will tell you a little bit about our philosophy when it comes to training. So my background is gun dogs, bird dogs. I used to train duck dogs. I went to college at UW Stout, other side of the state, and over there, most of the people are from Minnesota, and they all duck hunt. So all my buddies were big duck hunters. So I got into this bird dog thing, gun dog thing. And so I started training gun dogs and bird dogs, and I realized after I graduated and moved back home that I had spent 5 years of my life in the backyard of Buffalo County, Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Buffalo County. Who's a deer hunter in here? Again, I got to get a read for my crowd. So we got deer hunters. We're in the UP, right? So I spent a long time in the backyard of some of the best whitetail hunting in the world, in the United States. I didn't do it that often because I spent so much time hunting ducks. And we shot a lot of ducks. We had a really good career. Shot a lot of birds, trained some real nice dogs out of it. But I hadn't had a chance to kill big deer, and that's where it really gets me going. So the bird hunting I love. You know why I love bird hunting? Because I like working dogs. That was what really got me into it. I enjoyed the dog work more than the shooting. So then I moved home, and I went, gosh, I spent 5 years in a place, and I didn't shoot a big buck the whole time I was there. I really want to refocus and go after the big deer. So I started focusing on big deer, and I had really nice gun dogs. And I went, what am I going to do with these gun dogs now? There's nothing no, this is years ago. And I go, what am I going to do with these things? Now, I had shed hunted before. Who here shed hunts? Let me see the hands. Put them up. So, you want to. So, becoming probably, arguably one of the fastest growing segments of the hunting world. It's really gotten a lot of momentum, and I love it because it helps me keep the wolves off the porch. You know, this is our business. So, when you start looking for sheds, I had looked for sheds for years prior to doing it with the dog. And I had very, very little success. Okay? I walked quite a bit. I thought I walked quite a bit. I didn't find very many. maybe found a couple, but not very many. And I had heard about a guy that was using dogs to shed hunt. So I Googled it. Now remember, this is 10 years ago probably. I Googled shed hunting, and there was one with a dog. There was one article that came up. One. It was in Outdoor Life. It was about a guy that used a dog to find sheds, and that was it. Didn't tell you how to do it, anything like that. So what I did was, I said, well, it can't be that much different than me training these gun dogs and bird dogs. So I looked at my bird dog and gun dog training, and I went, all right, I'm going to take the same approach, but I'm going to use an antler instead of my birds, and we'll get there. So I took an old dog, and I cross-trained her. She was 8 years old at the time. I lost her when she was 14. So I had some good years out of her, but she was 8. And I started her shed training, and it worked. And the first year, I found more sheds with that dog than I had found any year prior without a dog. So needless to say, I was convinced. I went and I bought a puppy. I bought a puppy that looked just like these dogs. Okay? My pup was 6 months old. Very, very similar style of dog to this. I mean, I went through all the stuff I'm doing right now. I went through foundation work first. I'm a big believer in foundation work. You cannot have a dog in the field if you can't have a dog in the house, behave-wise. Foundation, heel, sit, stay, and come when I call you. Those are 4 things. That's pretty simple. Heel, sit, stay, come when I call you. Pretty simple. Most people can't do those 4 things, which doesn't allow them to be able to do the shed hunting. I don't care how natural your dog is, how good your dog's nose is, how well-bred it is. I've heard it all. Kids can't get this dog to make it click. It's not working. Why is that? And I say, well, what's the issues? Well, he'll find them, but he won't pick them up. It'll find them, but he wants to run off with them. Can't get him to come. I let the dog out, and he's gone. But he, boys, he got a good nose. He was, pedigrees, blah. I don't care. I'll take a dog that's a rescue that I can teach to come when I call, sit when I tell him to sit, stay when I walk away, place when I tell him to place. I'll take a rescue dog with 0 pedigree over a dog that's got the best pedigree with 0 foundation. Because if I have a foundation, here's the thing. Here's my analogy. I'm a sports guy, so I'm going to talk about sports a lot. When it comes to sports, my kid plays basketball. He's 15 years old, loves basketball. And so when it comes to I'm studying the idea, how do you get to be a better basketball player? I used to play basketball. I love the game. How did I get to be I shouldn't say I was good. I played. I made the team. But so how did I get better at basketball? Okay? I didn't go and just enroll. My coach didn't say, hey, let's sign up for every tournament and let's go play. Let's go play against the best teams. Let's go play against the worst teams. Let's just go play basketball. Because if you do that, you won't get very good. How do you get good at basketball? Well, see all these chairs right here? Reminds me of basketball. How? Because my high school basketball coach put us in the cafeteria with chairs and had us dribble for hours. All we did was dribble around chairs. So a lot of guys quit. The hell with this. This isn't basketball. This is dribbling around chairs in the cafeteria. But you know what? The guys that didn't quit and went through and did all this dribbling, they become very good ball handlers. Okay? So part of basketball is ball handling. Right? We all agree. Shooting. We went to camps. My kid goes to a camp where they shoot 1,000 shots. Doesn't sound like a lot. You try it. I couldn't lift my arms up after 1,000 shots. It's a lot. 1,000 shots in one session. It's a 1,000-shot camp. And it's muscle memory, over and over. It's shooting. It's shooting. 4 hours of straight shooting, and you're pushing it. So all that is shooting. But do we all agree that shooting is an important part of basketball? And so in order to become a very good basketball player, you got to get to be a shooter. Passing, drills, me to Chris, Chris to me. Chris is hitting me over here, and my coach is going to say, no, keep doing it until it's right here. You got to catch it here, because to be a good shooter, I got to catch it here. If I catch it down here, my shot's off. So you got to be a good passer. Passing is simple, right? But how much time do good basketball players figure out how to pass the ball? A lot. It's a skill. They have to develop it. So passing, you could break this whole game down. It's a bunch of simple stuff, but none of it is playing basketball. It's all the parts and pieces that have to happen first in order to play basketball. And then when you get those skills, what do? You start playing 3-on-3. Start playing 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, half court. Then we might go 4-on-4 full court. Then we might go 5-on-5 half court. Then we might go scrimmaging, but we're going to stop it constantly, and the coach is going to pick us off with motion offense, all these little details. All of that stuff is how I become a good basketball player. Well, you want a good shed dog. So what do most people do? They go shed hunting. And then they go, my dog just doesn't get it. There's a shed laying right there and he runs right past it. He doesn't get it. It's because the skills that you need to be a shed hunter, you never did. You just went shed hunting. You just went to the tournament and played basketball. And you're never going to get good at it. So when we have a goal, you got to have a plan. Anything I'm doing in training, I've got a plan. You know what I want? I want this dog to do this, this, and this in the end. I start way over here. And then, here's the thing. Dogs learn incrementally. Baby steps. A to B, B to C, C to D. We get to Z. But we don't go from A to Z. Dogs can't. They physically can't do it. So I got through college. Believe it or not, it happened. I was a solid C student, okay? The academics were not my high point in my life. But I got through it. But you know how I got through it? A lot of times, believe it or not, it was duck hunting. So I wasn't spending the day-to-day thing on my classes. And then all of a sudden I get to the end of the semester and I go, oh boy, I got a test that I have to pass. That's the nice part about college is a lot of my classes I didn't have to be there every day. And I shouldn't say all this stuff, but my kid will listen to it. So when you get to the end, a lot of your grade is weighted on your final. Well, all I got to do is pass the final and I pass the class. So I would stay up for hours and cram before a final. And then I'd go in and I'd squeak out a C. And I'd go, yes, victory. I'd get through it. This dog right here, if you wait until you want to go shed hunting and then you take Luna and you go shed hunting with Luna, Luna's going to fail. Because Luna can't cram. You can't say, oh, we're going to shed hunt this weekend. Every night for 3 hours this week, we're going to work on shed hunting in our yard. And we're going to be able to shed hunt. It won't work. You'll get frustrated. I'll get emails. That's what happens. So what we need to do is we need to back up. So 5-month-old Luna, you know what I'm working on with 18-week-old feed? Or Spry, feed, whatever. They all run the same. So I'm working on heel, sit, stay, come when I call you, recall, place, all these simple things. Because I'm going to show you a drill with Ellie, because we got to wake everybody up, including my dogs. So I'm going to show you a drill that I'm going to do with this pup. Now, I skipped over why did I get to this thing. The reason I got to this thing is because I went and got that puppy. I raised that puppy, heel, sit, stay, come and call. Had a nice foundation. She was a nice little dog. She was teething, which is just like this puppy. She got done teething. Prior to her teething, I had a balled up sock. I rolled it down the hallway. I closed all the doors. The little pup chased it down and brought it back to me. I formed a nice little retrieve habit. That's how I get it started. Then I went to a canvas puppy bumper, something like this, a little bit bigger. She picked it up. She brought it back to me. So I incrementally got her to bring out natural retrieve. That's all I was doing. Then I took an antler because she got done teething. I don't retrieve when they're teething, so that puppy doesn't retrieve today. That puppy doesn't retrieve today. Done teething or teething?
She's only 3 months old.
3 months old, so then she's probably not teething yet. Did you tell me 5 months? Or did I make that up? Who's got a 5-month-old pup? Hey, won't be the first time I make a mistake today. So the other thing is my disclaimer before I do any seminars is this. My dogs today will make mistakes. That's the point. Okay? I talked about how I don't hate it. I think it's impressive. I like seeing choreographed things. When it comes to dogs, I think it's beautiful. I love to see what they're capable of. So I like going and watching these things, and I've watched a million seminars. I give you a lot of credit for sitting through these because I've done it a million times. What it tells me is first step is taken care of. You want to get better. Okay? You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to get better. So that's good. So I did the same thing. I went to a lot of these. I read some books. Believe it or not, audiobooks are a blessing. But this was before that. But I read a book or two. I watched DVDs. I tried to get as much information as I could from as many trainers as possible. And I think that's what everyone should do. I think it's the best way to do this. But when I did that, I would go and I'd watch a seminar, and I'd try to get something out of it, and I'd watch it, and I'd go, yes, that's what I'm going to do. So I went home, and I took my dog, and I went in the backyard, and I walked the way he walked, I talked the way he talked, I dressed up the way he dressed up. And then I went and did this thing with the dog. I did everything the way that guy did it, and my dog didn't do it. And I got frustrated, and I said, the hell with that. That's not how it works. The thing is that guy did not do a seminar with a dog that was in training. He did a seminar with a dog that knows how to do it. And so all it did was frustrate me. So my disclaimer is this. My dogs will make mistakes today. I put it out there because it's embarrassing. He's a professional trainer. Look at that dog. These dogs are in training. So they're going to make mistakes. And the nice part about it is they're going to make mistakes, the same mistakes that your dog is likely to make. how do you fix it? That's the key. I don't care if they make mistakes. What do you do about it? Kids make mistakes. How do you correct them? Who's got kids here? I'm going to make a lot of analogies to parenting. I'm changing the idea of training dogs to raising dogs. And the reason is because a lot of people are going to say, wow, guarantee you someone in here has thought this already. Because it's one of the most common things. People will say, how much time does he have into training that dog? She's 1.5 years old. How much time do you spend a day with that dog? Well, I live with it. So I'm with it all the time. How much time do I spend training it? Well, this one right here, her attention span is about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 maybe. So I work on focused things for 5 to 10 minutes. But you know what? You don't. So I reverse that and I go, I've got kids. We've got one right here. We've got another one at home playing basketball. It's turkey hunting right now, but a basketball player. So when that kid came home for the first time, I went, wow, now what? I had never had one before. I go, I don't know what this is all about. So I didn't go and read many books about it. It happened. You have to start figuring stuff out, right? So when that kid came home to my house, I didn't go, I'm going to email someone and ask him how many minutes a day I should train my kid. How many minutes a day do I need to work on potty training? How many minutes a day do I work on feeding? None of that stuff. It becomes life. It's ongoing. You don't turn it off. So all of a sudden, we're not training kids, we're raising kids. And raising kids happens all day long. I'm a big believer in this. They're always learning. We always have to be training. So this is training. She's been in training the last 1.5 hours and I haven't done anything with her. But she's been trained to be patient. She's been trained to be on her place. She's practicing all this stuff. So we are constantly in training because our dogs are always learning. And the thing is we have to be sure to avoid training bad habits in, maybe more so than good ones. Because the bad habits catch just as quick as the good ones. So if we can get into the habit of form good habits, avoid bad ones, boy, it makes things easy. So this antler was pitched for the 6-month-old dog. She was very excited. She loved to retrieve. She ran up to it with a lot of excitement. She poked herself. She ran up to this thing and went, boom, came running back to me, reading body language. Well, the tail was as tight in as it could get, and she came up to me cowering. She thought it bit her. So all of a sudden, I've got a dog that I bought to be a shed dog, who's deathly afraid of it. What do I do now? Now remember, this is the first one I had bought to be a shed dog. Holy, anyone ever hear of a gun-shy dog? Anybody ever experience? This is impressive. Like, not in a great way, but a lot of head nodding. It's one of the most common things that happens. Who knows what creates the most gun-shy dogs? A lot of people will say 12 gauge. You go to the sporting clays. You took them hunting too early. Here's what creates the most gun-shy dogs: the 4th of July. Because when we're going to go hunting and we're doing the gun stuff, we're usually like in training mode. So we're going, oh, we got to be careful. We got to make sure we introduce this. But 4th of July, we're not dog training anymore. We're sitting around the grill, having a few pops, and all of a sudden one goes boom, 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 boom. And these little dogs that are always learning, so we're always training, are experiencing some really traumatic stuff for the first time, and it's negative. You want your dog not to like something, introduce it to him in a negative way. If you want your dog to like something, introduce it to him in a positive way. I'm not a treat trainer, but I'm 100% in favor of positive training. I don't use force. I have retrievers up here. Not a lot of retrievers, more shepherds than retrievers, which again is unique. But I don't force fetch. And I've had a lot of people look me in the eye and want to fight me in the parking lot when I said that. You have to force fetch. Why? They're Labrador retrievers. Golden retrievers. This has been bred into them for hundreds of years to the point where we name them after it. So we're going to force dogs to retrieve. Here's a question. I used to work for a lot of bosses. I thought I was a pretty good employee. I really worked. When I had a job, I liked it and I wanted to do well. My bosses, now there's a lot of different bosses out there and there's a lot of different techniques to be a boss. There's a lot of different coaches who have a lot of different ways of coaching kids. There's a lot of different teachers. Anybody in here a teacher? Teacher, we'll pick on you a little bit. So teachers, what do you teach? 7th grade math. 7th grade math is probably equivalent to these 5 to 6 month old puppies. Like, they're smart enough to get in trouble. They're big enough to get in trouble. They're going through some things in their life that there are a lot of big changes, and teething is a big one for this dog right now. So God bless you, 7th grade math. So teaching, there's a lot of different ways to teach. Now, as a teacher, I've got kids, I hope teachers want to get the most out of their students. Okay? That to me is what a teacher is. I hope basketball coaches want to get the most out of their players. I hope bosses want to get the most out of their employees. It's in their best interest. So when you start talking to me, I'm a driven person. If you say, hey, do a nice job on this project and I will give you a bonus and I will reward you handsomely. Or that's your approach, incentivize things. Or you say, hey, I'm your boss, and if you make a mistake on this project, you're fired. Now, same exact project, but 2 different ways to motivate me. Fear or positive. Okay? You're going to get way more out of me if I got a nice bonus in the end. Because the guy who's going to work out of fear is going to keep his head down. I will do the bare minimum to make sure I don't make a mistake. You want to talk about making a risk? I think I might be able to make it a little bit better by doing this. But there's a gamble, because it might not work. And then I'm fired? No, I don't think so. I'll go the safe route. I'll keep my head down. How do I get the most out of me? Incentivize me. Do a nice job, Jeremy. Now, it's got to be within reason. It's all about balance. You can't just go, well, take a flyer at this and hope it works out. Because there's consequences for that too. But I approach training dogs the same way I approach how I work for people. Positive. This dog right here is going to take a little chance for me once in a while. When I send her out on a marsh and she's going to have to get a wounded duck that sailed 200 yards. And no, Mom and Dad, I won't talk to you right now. When I stop that dog at 150 yards and I say, get back. And she looks at me and goes, I'm not comfortable with it, but I believe I'll go. Boom, she turns, she goes that extra 50 yards and picks the bird and brings it back to me. I'm going to go, you're the best. If I got these little dogs, shock collars. Anybody use a shock collar? I don't. I'm dead set against them. Okay? This is another one. My truck's parked right there. Are my lights on in my truck? My truck's parked right there. Oh no, the person in front of me. Just, anybody got jumper cables? So I've had this. Do a seminar. I'm against shock collars. I talk about it. And I have guys that want to meet me in the parking lot because they're going to talk about things with me. Same guy that force fetches. Here's why I don't use a shock collar. And I don't think there's one way to train dogs. There's a million ways to train them. You got to figure out what works best for you. The reason I call it a shock collar is because it does create a shock to the dog. Okay? A lot of people call them e-collars. What do you call them?
I call it a shock collar.
Well, I can take you. I'm bigger than you. So, e-collars. A lot of people call them e-collars. You know why? Because it sounds a lot better. You know what? You know why shock collars do so well? They're a big part of a lot of businesses. You guys probably sell a lot of them. Every store sells a ton of them. You know why? Because they have a hell of a marketing budget. They really market them well. And so they're the fix-all. Now our society has turned into what I really believe is we're push-button people. We want stuff now. We've been sold that if there's a dog problem, buy a shock collar. That'll fix it. Now, shock collar is a tool that used in the right circumstances by the right trainer who has to be very, very good. And the circumstance has to be very, very particular, that it might be a last resort fix. I'll say that. I'll also say I'm not good enough to use one. I'm not a good enough trainer. I have to be much better trainer before I would ever trust myself to put a collar. Because you know what we are? We're volatile people. We get frustrated and we go, oh. If I have a collar, I'm capable of doing things without thinking it through at a long distance to a dog that might not make sense to the dog. Because it's all about timing. Shock collars create unnatural timing. Timing is critical. Correction and praise. So, now when a dog...
Is there a possible way if you have a dog that,
Yeah.
that was damaged by an e-collar, can you correct it?
Yeah, and that's the problem, is it creates a lot of issues. So how do you fix it? Trust, confidence, timing. What does that take? A lot of patience. Everything I talk about today will boil back down to a few things. Mechanics are 50% of it. The timing, the use of the collar in the right way, not shock collar, but just a slip collar or a flat collar, whatever it is, the tools you're using. This is mechanical. It's the shape of an antler and it doesn't hurt my dog and it creates a real safe, positive connection to retrieving it. I pour praise onto it to reinforce it. That's mechanical. Yeah, that's 50% of the equation. The other percent, the other half of it, I think it's equal to, half-wise, 50-50 is equal, right? Math teacher. Test it. So, you passed. 50% of it mechanical, 50% of it is feel, connection, and trust. Now, this little pup right now, she's struggling. I can sense this, okay? So here's the thing. We've exceeded pup's focus. 3 months old, we've exceeded the focus. So now, it's affecting you negatively because you're going, God damn it, shut up. Shut up. I can sense it. So what I want to do is, I don't want this to turn into a net. Like, this is an opportunity for training. The opportunity, now, does pup have to go? Maybe it has to go to the bathroom. I don't know. Do you think?
We're worried about that puppy over there.
Okay. Where'd that pup go?
She doesn't know.
What's that? Oh, he went to shut my window. Oh, he is the best. What a good wingman, right? I'm gonna take that guy anywhere. So, so pup's gone, so now what I want to do is, let's take this pup, because this is just too much. We gotta reset this pup. Now, at 3 months old, probably very little heel work. I haven't had time to yet, have you?
Tried.
Okay. Before we do heel work, there's no response to the pressure of the neck. Now we get a little bit of eyes. Too many smells. Wrong place to do this for the first time. Nope. Body language is changing already. Look at his tail. Her, him. Her. There. No, too much praise. See how that immediately. So this dog is not going to get rewarded with a lot of praise. All it needs is just mark it right. Too many distractions. Her, right?
Yep.
Now, what I'm going to have you do is, just because it's not fair for this little pup right now, it's just not fair. Do you have a kennel or a crate? What did you bring him here? Come on, come on. I don't want him chewing up your truck. So here's, let's try this again. Let's just let's see if that enough was to break it up for her to settle. Because I don't want her to throw you off. Because this is perfect though. I'm glad you got it. Because let me get going and then we'll use her a little bit. But so 3 months is early. So what I would be doing with a 3-month-old is tying her out. Okay? Tying her out is going to create patience. So don't hold her tight. Don't hold her tight. Because if we just hold her tight, she's just going to become numb to this. Okay? And what you're doing is you're the anchor on the other end. So this is perfect. So what I would do is, at home, get yourself an area with a short cable. 6, 8, 10 feet at the longest. Cable though. Can't chew through it. Stake it in the ground. Okay? With a swivel. So it's not, they sell them right over there. I use them. They're just swivels, so they don't get wound up. But she's going to have to get tied out. Because this is going to help you with heel work. Watch the difference. So I'm going to put a flat collar on Spry. We're going to get right into some stuff. Where's your leash?
That's right there.
Right here. Jeez. Test. She passed. So I'm going to put a flat collar on her to start, which I'm glad you got a flat collar on. I'm glad you didn't come in with some big spike collar, some big pinch collar. So I'm going to take a little Spry off. Now, watch how much pulling. Now this, you don't have your collar. I do it here. This is not long enough. So what I want to do is, this is a mechanical thing. So the question about the collar before, this is a mechanical part of it. This isn't the feel and the trust, but this will develop it. So I need to have positioning right. For me, my positioning is right about here with this puppy. It's going to change depending on how big the dog is. But I got to be able to get correction. You saw me. Now, did you see the change out of that little tap to the neck on her? Watch the change out of the tap to the neck. Look at how tight she is right now. So we're not getting any change. All we're getting is numb to this. And every once in a while she'll go, not learning anything from that. So what has to happen is dog needs to learn to give the pressure to the neck. This dog does, so watch this. Now, notice how loose the lead is. We're feeling each other. Like this, she feels the weight of this. It's all right, it's all right. She feels the weight of this. She does not feel me doing one of these. Heel. This is just dragging your dog along. Because pretty soon, when the dog gets bigger and can outman you, dog's gonna take you for walks. That's what. You ever see anyone take their dog for a walk and go, oh, hold on? They're taking you for a walk. Can't stand it. I stop and pull over and talk to people when I see that stuff. So can't have it. So what I need is her to understand to give the pressure to the neck. So as soon as that little pup, Luna, gets bumped, she goes, uh-oh, just take a little step closer to mom. That doesn't start with you on the other end, because this is negative. What did I say? Don't connect things for the first time negative to the things that you want them to like. I want them to like me. Don't connect big pulls to me. Connect big pulls to a stake in the ground. I don't care if they don't like that. So tie the pup out, and it's a patience thing. So you're going to take patience. So you stake the dog's going to fight it. Yeah, dude. You sit and bark and cry and run so hard that it wrings its neck. And then it's going to go, holy crap, that hurts. How do I turn this off? They're going to get pull. And then the second they turn back, they're going to go, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. Pull. Turn it off. Pull, turn it off. Pull. They're smart. They're super smart. She'll learn real quickly that if I tap that little lead, watch her respond to me tapping the lead. Now she tied out really easily. This is the stuff we're working on because she can't retrieve right now. She's teething. And we leave her remote sit all the time. Now, can't do this to start out with, but so backing up to this heel work with this pup, start tying her out. Start tying her out and leaving her to give the pressure to the neck. Do not let her off until she stops fighting it, circles and lays down. Then go out and get her and go, good girl. Take her back in. Do it again. Do it again. Weather's nice out now. Not right now, but these days, it's hard to do this in the winter. So you know what I did? I tied the dog to the garage door at my shop. And I let her fuss and fight and pull, and then she'd lay down, and then I'd go, good girl. But if you let her off while she's teething, here's my little pup that's teething, has a tendency to chew. You want a shed dog? Oh, let them chew on sheds. No, you're forming a habit. The wrong one. Chew toys create habits. They create chewers. Oh, it'll occupy them. Yeah, it'll train them to chew on stuff. So when they don't have the right stuff, they're going to chew. You walking down I shouldn't say this too loud. Michelle's not listening, right? Walk down the aisles. There's a lot of chew toys in these stores that look like shoes. Oh, isn't that cute? Look like a little shoe. Aw, give it to my dog. Then the dog chews up your $100 pumps and you go, you damn dog, chewed up my shoes. You trained the dog to chew your shoes and then you get mad at him because he chewed your shoes. Who wants to be a duck dog? Go down the aisle of the squeaky toys. They look like ducks. They look like pheasants. Ah, this is cute. Let's get it for Fido when she's a little puppy. You're going to put stuff in that puppy over the next 2-3 months that will be with it for life. Make sure they're the right things or you're going to have them forever. So when you got these little puppies and you go, she's going to be a pheasant dog. Let's get her that little squeaky pheasant for her to chew on in her kennel. And then you take out the training dummy that looks like the pheasant at 6 months old, 7 months old, 8 months old, and you throw it and the dog runs and lays down and chews on it. And you go, no, that's not what we do here. We're training now. You trained it at 3, 4, 5 months. Now you're saying, I got to train something out of them. Don't do that. Antlers are the same thing. Unless you want your dogs to shed hunt, find antlers, lay down and chew on them in the woods. Don't do it at home. Okay? So we'll get into the shed stuff more, but that dog needs to be tied out so it gives the pressure to the neck, and then we can start this little heel work. Come on. So I want to show this. Did we find a bowl? Was there a bowl? Excellent. Okay. I'm going to show you how we start this out. You're going to see a real habit with this pup. Because I like that we have some puppies, younger dogs. Now when I say puppies, who's got dogs I asked you the ages already. Who's got one over 2? We had one in the room, maybe? Oh, a couple of them. Ooh, more than that. So who's got them under 2? 50-50. I like it. All right. Who's got it with them? Someone does. My wingman does. So, first thing I do when I get home is I start training my dog. I start them when they're puppies, 7 weeks old. Bring them home. Now, for the first day or two, whoa! Anybody see a nose work right now? Someone realized that that's, now does she smell it? Probably. I opened the bag. Does she hear it? Quite certain, right? So, when I brought this puppy home, this is what I would do. Now, I would recommend it for, who's got a real little one that they can still hold on to? Anybody don't got that one that little? Then if you can't hold on to him, it's going to be one of these numbers with the lead. So, when she was just a little baby, envision her much, much smaller than this. I got to get my workout in for a week, so we'll do it right now. So, little pup comes home like this, and I get pup. And I start the little pup out, and I really want a quiet, patient, steady dog. Nice little change. And I just don't, you're good. I like this, because she is way less wound than she once was. We'll build on that. So, when I brought this pup home, first off, for the first couple days, she was just kind of getting adjusted to our house. Totally, we took her away from all of her brothers and sisters. We totally uprooted her life. And I brought her home. So I just wanted to get back to that field thing, and I wanted her to trust me. So we started doing that. This will go a lot faster because she's big. So then I bring the little pup home, and I feed the dog on a schedule. At the kennel, they're probably feeding 3 times a day, morning, noon, night. That's what ours do. When I come home, I change it to 2 times a day because I want to get the dog on a routine for post-breaking. The first objective for me is to get a dog not have accidents. So I'm going to control what goes in, I control what comes out, I know the timing. So when the pup comes home, I've got the little pup here, and she's little, and I hold on to her. And after a day or two, I go over and I get the bowl of food, and it makes the same sound that it did at the kennel. And this dog does this. Fusses and fights, and I can feel her heart right now racing. Okay, she's really going hard. Now, I take the bowl of food, and I just sit here and I go like this. She's a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier when she's 7 weeks old. I just hold on to her. And as soon, right now, it just happened. Her heart went settled. So I set the bowl of food down and I let the puppy eat. Now I do that in the evening. Then I do it in the morning. Then I do it in the evening. Then I do it in the morning. And by the second day of it, I got 4 or 5 repetitions in. And I got this little puppy that as soon as I pick the pup up, she realizes he feeds me as soon as I slow down. So all of a sudden, I pick her up and she goes, she just relaxes. And I go, aha, she's getting it. Now I set her on the ground. And I touch her feet to the ground, and her feet go. Now her habit is this. So when I first put her feet down, she'd go like this. And what I would do is pick her back up. Set her down, her feet go like this, pick her back up. So if you've got a dog right now that physically is too big to hold on to, that's all right, this is just a lot for her. When I set that pup down and the feet go like this, I'd pick it back up. So if I'm you, I'm right in between my legs, touch the dog down, dog gets too much, pick it back up. Gets too much, pick it back up. Gets too much, now she's not going anywhere. Because the next step that I do with them is I have them sit down. I have them put their butt on the ground. As soon as their butt hits the ground, I line them and send them. As soon as their butt hits the ground, line them and send them. Next thing you know, you get the bowl. One of these days, you're going to go over and get the bowl of food ready, and you're going to find the dog in the exact same spot, sitting there waiting. It happens very quickly, because they're so smart. They realize the quicker they do it, the easier it is. Now I'm going to send her this way. So you can see, her habit is sit. Her habit is just sit and wait. She's so used to this. She's been doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Now I've changed it up lately. I started feeding her in a kennel, and I send her into her kennel. Because I'm trying to get a little command to kennel up, go into my kennel. There's food in there. It's a process that we're transitioning. But the next thing I do, set the pup down. Then I can set the pup down and take a step. And if she gets up right now, what's the reward for her? Nothing. There's this. If I set the bowl of food down, she breaks, I pick it back up. Set it down, she breaks, I pick it back up. She goes, God. till she sits down on the ground and she waits, and then I go, okay, I let her eat. Now I build off of it. So now, we've done this for a long time. Now the reason I want to show this is because this is how I start my retrieves. You're going to go, what? That's how you start your retrieves? Because I'm a habit guy. You're all right. You're all right. The cranking on her right now isn't going to help. She's just confused.
She's got a very strong food desire.
Totally. I would too. Like I said, we're at Chuck E. Cheese right now, and you're going, don't eat anything. A lot. And that dog right now at 3 months old, I say is comparable to a 4-year-old. Like, a 4-year-old can get into a lot of trouble. They're mobile. They can move. They're noisy. They understand. If they whine, they usually get stuff. So, you got the toughest age right now that there is. And you put it in a college education course, and you're asking it to pass the final. And the reality is this course, when I say like a class, I just mean you got to just sit still and be quiet. Like, how old is she? 2. She's been places before. She's well socialized. She's at 3 months old, I don't know if she'd have sat there that quiet. Neither would these ones. Now this one is, but this one's been doing it since she was 7 weeks old. The first time I took her to a thing, I took her in front of 600 people at a Whitetails Unlimited dinner, and I had her on her bed, and she went, wow, overwhelming. It's a cultural thing though. If you raise them up in that environment, they become accustomed to it. How many times have you had her to this store with 30 strangers and dogs, and the guy feeding dogs in front of her? How many times does that happen?
I brought her a lot, but never where food came out.
Totally. And I bet you never asked her to sit for an hour, quiet, in front of all these people. So this is tough. This is really hard on her. Now, this little girl just passed the test. Like, I just was distracted, I wasn't paying attention to her, and she's going, I'm still over here, waiting patiently. Now, I'm going to line her up, and I said, this is my start to retrieves. Now watch how I do this. And watch her eyes. I'm looking at the dog. Okay, now, we're going to use this. This is why I like seminars live, man, candid. Because things happen. We're going to use, read my dog's body language right now. So this one goes, oh no. This one goes, what's going on? A little bit of a growl out of her even. Protective nature of her. The drool hanging out of her mouth right now is because Dad opened a bowl of food. Pavlov rang his bell, and now she's starting to drool. This little pup's really all ears, literally, ready to go. So it was really interesting to me to see all these different dogs react to the chaos. This is like in a bar, okay? We're in a bar on Saturday night, and all of a sudden stuff's going on at the pool table. How is everyone going to react? Some guys go running. Some guys go, oh no, not me. And some people, kind of good show. So everyone's got a different personality. Well, so do these dogs. Her right now, she's going, ooh-ah. Don't want anything to do with it. So the confidence in this dog is not real strong in that situation. Now she scooted and sat and went, I'm not going to have my back to you guys. That's total body language to me. She's doing everything she can to show me, Dad, I'll do it. You asked me to do this, I'll do it. So I'm real happy about that. And I'm going to read, she goes, oh, pretty good. Tail wags, equal happy. Now let's restart. My escape mechanism. I'm here, Dad. Okay, let's start it over. Everybody settle. Now, I want to get her eyes to me because I'm going to have them transfer from me to my hand, and I'm lining her to the food. She doesn't want her back to the crowd right now. I don't blame her. But watch her eyes. Distraction, back. Distraction, back. Her sister's getting walked up and down the hall because right now she was struggling. So Chris said, I'm taking her away from this. I'm going to set her up for success. I'm going to bring her back. Chris is gonna be in the back 40 here pretty quick. We're not gonna let him get that far. But watch this pup's eyes. She's distracted, she comes back. She's not going to get the food till I get her eyes. Good. Good. Notice the tail. Good. Go eat. Okay? So, this is how I start him on retrieves. Well, what does that make? How does that make sense? Look at everyone's attention right now. Not the people, the dogs. Look how nice and respectful that is. That's great. Look at the eyes. Look at Mom. Mom, when's mine coming? Like she's trying to get something. She's trying to earn something. I love it. Now, how does that equal? Let's raise more hell. Let's scooch to these chairs. Now, I'm going to send a dog through here. Okay, Ellie's going to go through it. I'm going to let the little pup eat because she hasn't eaten yet today. Ellie, come here. I'm going to show you how that transfers to retrieves. Now, this is easy. A lot of people go, train my shed dog. Just throw antlers, throw antlers, throw antlers. 3 steps in shed training. Shape first, sense second, feel last. Okay? We'll simplify it. That's pretty simple. Now, there's a bunch of steps in between. Let me try that again, Rochelle. I can get you. Now, a lot of distractions for this dog. I'm going to have to work through a bunch of people, new dogs. I'm going to see if she's focused. That guy will retrieve it back. I'll stop him on a whistle and I'll give him a back command. As a joke. He didn't like it. Yeah. Whoa! Scared. Good. Oh. Yeah. You read her. Beautiful. Look at her. She goes, ah! Coming through there was hard. Okay? Now, in the meantime, I'm always paying attention to what we're doing over here because guess who gets in trouble if we let her? So at my house, I don't feed her and then just go do something. Because when she's done, ooh, that was pretty fun. I'll get into this. Now, here's another test for her. So let's do this again. Now, I'm going to build off that. I want to get her to come through there without being freaked out. She dropped that bump. She should not drop this bump. She's been hold conditioned. Hold. Hold. She'll hold that thing for days. She's been through hold conditioning. So here's how I'm going to fix that. I want to try to get her to come through it with some confidence. Oh, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Hold. Good. So we had a little issue. We're going to work through it. Come on, come on, come on. No, 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 not you, you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Hold. Hold. What's that? Yeah, totally.
Maybe it's the haircut.
Beauty always is striking. Sure.
I think because she was like going.
Totally. Well, the other thing is here is this is constricting. Like this is literally like right now we're talking about like all sorts of stuff where people will look at a dark alley. It might be the shortest way to get there, but there's a big open field that's well lit. Most people are going to go around here. It's safer, way safer. Now so this is an issue that I didn't know would happen. But how do I fix it? I don't go, no, that's okay, go around. Don't face your fears, just go around. Some people would go, that's okay, let them do that. No, no, no. We're going to work through it. Now, I'm not going to force her, get through here. Because how comfortable is she going to be? I want her to get comfortable. So, heel, heel, good. Heel, heel, heel. She really speeds up when we go through there, right? So, how do I balance that? I slow down. So watch this change. Heel. Heel. Immediately she gets out of heel position. Not going to allow it. Heel. Heel. Very good. Heel. Very good. Heel. 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 Very good. Heel. Very good. Very good. heel. Come on. Come on. So, we'll fix that. So all this stuff, when we run into stuff, I reverse engineer it all. Where's the issue? The issue is coming through the pinch point. First time she dropped the bumper, second time she went through it, she's still shy. The third time I allowed her and she bubbled out. Fix the problem before you keep trying to ram through it. I think a lot of people get into a point where they run into a wall in their training, like literally and psychologically. And then all of a sudden they go, how do I get through this? Put my head down and ram into it harder. Put my head in and ram into it harder. When if you stop and you maybe take a couple steps back and you look at the wall and you go, there's a doorway right there. Why don't I go through the door? Like, not literally, but go figure out your problem. Don't just keep trying to ram through it. My problem is this, so I'm not going to, come on. So I'm going to reverse it and go, I know I can get her on heel for the lead. Because she's just solid. Watch the difference in her heel work with this lead. Now, am I steering her? Not a chance. It's super loose. There's no me influencing it, but we feel each other. She feels me, I feel her heel. So uncomfortable. Her feet are off. Come on. Her feet are off. The wrong bend, but we got the feet right. Now watch this. Heel. Just disconnected with me there. So I just gotta get her feet to work here. Her feet aren't working. That's the turn I want, but I want it right here. No, just won't. And it's a physical thing. She doesn't want to turn her back to this strange dog. So we're gonna get her comfortable with it. And you'll hear me. I made sure she understood it's what I'm looking for. Bad turn, wrong bend. Come on. Come on. Good. She's kind of being protective too of herself. Now, I've got one that I was going to bring today. I didn't bring her because she's in heat. This one could be synced in pretty close, real close to that. She goes, I'm not sticking that anywhere. That's science, okay? That's not anything with training. So all I'm doing right now is getting her comfortable going through here. I really want to get her to make a couple nice turns. Bad turn. Bad footwork. I'm picky with this one. Picky with her feet. Her feet are off. Watch the turn out here. There, I'm looking at one. Pick it up a little. She's real flat. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, come on. There's what I'm looking for. So I kind of lulled her into sleeping. Now I'm speeding her up and she's actually thinking about it. This and that here. I got to work on it. So this is a good so why am I so damn picky about these feet? Most of you are like, well, I'd be happy if the dog healed. Why am I picky about the feet? Because I have to get the feet perfect right here to get them perfect out there. And I won't get the controller out there if I can't right here. Here's why I want to do this. I'm going to show you something. Who's on social media? Who uses social media? So Facebook right now. We're training dogs live on Facebook. We've been training Spry live since she was about 7.5 weeks old. anybody watch us on Facebook? Has anybody seen the live with Spry's? You guys seen it? So the last couple days, I've had an issue with this dog turning to make retrieves. I'm going to show you that. I didn't plan on doing it, but we're going to. I'm going to set this one up for success. Putting her over here. Now, Ellie has a problem. So you're going to go, why is he so damn picky about these feet? When I say her feet are off, what I mean by that is her feet, her body's bending the wrong way when I turn left. So watch her body. What I want her body to do is, when I turn this way, I want her body to go this way, her butt to come this way, and her front feet to follow. Okay? It's really a precision little turn. It's easy to go outside, because she just leads with the front. But it's real uncomfortable for her to lead with her back end. It's like me dribbling left-handed. It's pretty uncomfortable. I have to practice it to make it comfortable. She's got to practice her turns to get her feet right. And the reason her feet have to get right now is because I'm going to ask the dog to handle left and right for me. And watch the problem I've run into with her feet. Now she heels pretty good. Heel. See how her back, butt, so now that watch her butt. Watch her feet in the back. Watch how they have to move in order for her to make a nice turn. Otherwise, she bends the opposite way. Her front goes out, and her body has to try to catch up. You ever see people dance before that have danced together a long time? They look pretty good. You ever see two people on Saturday night late, and they don't dance with each other very often? It's ugly. That's me. So I need dogs that dance with me pretty good. In order to do that, we got a lot of practice. We got to be on the same page. So heel. Add turn. See how she, I don't know which way. I need to get in rhythm with her. Heel. There's a nice one. Heel. Now, when I line this dog this way, I've got a dog that's turning for me the wrong way. I will throw a bumper to the left-hand side. I'll stop her to it. Now, she's cheating that way already. Her problem is when I send her this way, she spins around and goes that way. She's just in a habit. She goes that way really nice. She doesn't turn around to go that way. She doesn't lead with her front. She always goes around. So if you watch on Facebook 3 days back now, I started this. This is the fourth time I've done this ever with her on handling. So she's got a tendency to spin the wrong way. I don't know if she will do it right or not this time. Good. She took it right. Good girl. Very good. Now, oh, you. Whistle. Whistle trained her. Let's see. I'm going to hire you for a minute. Now, as she goes to break, just a little traction. One leave their leftovers. Come on. Hold. Hold. Good. Sit. Sit. Just leave. Now. Yep. Good. Very good. Hold. Hold. A lot more confident, right? She actually, you can see, I think, what I saw in her was she ran out, she turned around, she went, oh no, this again, and then she came back and she went, I'm going, and she came right through. So in just the last 15 minutes, we found a problem, we figured out how to reverse it to where the problem was, and then we figured out how to get her through it again. So it's just like so the whole thing started with, why do I do that puppy retrieving lining thing? To make retrieves. Did you notice what it looked like when I sent this dog for a retrieve? It looked the exact same it did when I lined that puppy up for a bowl of food. I'm starting her retrieving stuff when she's 7 weeks old and imprinting habits that are going to transfer to the field down the road. Now, why do I need that foundation for shed training? Let's go back to our shed. Now that we've got a little confidence going through the aisle, our next step, a lot of people throw antlers. They'll buy the training dummy. They'll throw the training dummy. They go, oh, she's got it. Let's go shed hunting. And then what happens is the dog goes through the woods and finds the antler, smells it, and keeps moving. And they go, she just won't pick them up off the ground. She must not have it. No, the issue is, now what are you trying to bail this dog out for? No. Right back. Right back. Reading body language. I can just see she goes, I'll help her. No, you gotta work through this. So, the next step, shape first. So people throw it, they get retrieves, their dog loves the shape, let's go shed hunting. You just went from A to Z. And how do dogs do with A to Z? A big F. They fail. Okay? I never used that before, that was good. A to Z, you get an F. I'll use that in the future. So, now, the next step, from throwing it, I want to bridge the gap. So I do what we call a trailing memory. Now watch what I do on a trailing memory. It's going to go back to the foundation. Heel. I'm going to ask you guys, what do I do differently here than what I just had done prior? Really getting nice and sharp. The turns are good, her focus is good. She's getting a little confident. Ellie. Very good. Oh, she really accelerates a little bit right there, but that's all right. Oh. Okay, what did I do different there than what I had done the 3 times prior? Other than, like, we had to train to get through that little hiccup there. But what was the difference? Anybody catch it? Instead of throwing it. Exactly. A lot of people go, oh, he didn't do anything different. It was extremely similar. I started in the same spot. The antler was in the same spot. The retrieve was identical. The difference was this time, I walked her down on heel, dropped the bumper, waited a second, said no, heel. I turned her around, I heeled her back. We started over in the exact same spot. I waited not very long. Sometimes I wait longer than others. But that time I didn't wait real long, and I centered. The difference was I put some time in between them. Dogs' memories are really short term. They've got long-term memory and short-term. Their short-term memory is extremely short. I love that habit. Ooh, I'm going to be here a while. Lay down. Perfect. So, short-term memory, 2.7 seconds. I didn't make it up. There's a text that they showed it. A dog, if you don't correct a dog or praise a dog in 2.7 seconds or less, doesn't understand what you're correcting or praising for. So she jumps off the bed, runs over to me. You notice I didn't correct her at all? Never. Not one correction. No. Bring her back over and put her on there. Because she'd go, sorry, Dad, I won't come by you next time. Because what she would have thought my correction was her coming over to me to check things out. I didn't catch her doing it. You dog pees on the carpet, you go over and rub its nose, and they go, no. Well, my grandma told me that's what we do. That's all that was, is they always did it that way. Just because they always did it that way doesn't mean it's right. Short-term memory. If you can't correct the dog, that's why I gave him the lead and said if she jumps off right now, correct. Because she'll connect the idea of, what am I doing at this moment to get corrected? Don't do it again. Where when she lays like that, go ahead and praise me. She just laid down. And she goes, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. So what I did here was I added time and distance. So when my little dog goes through the woods, the shed hunters here, how many of you have ever walked through the woods and seen a buck, jumped it out of its bed, and it shed the antlers in front of you? Anyone? If you did, I'll call BS. But I saw it on YouTube once. Okay? If you think that that's what happened, if you train your dog to throw antlers for them and they go and they retrieve them, and I've had a lot of people, I can throw them in the deepest, darkest, most thickest cover in the world, they never miss them. But they'll miss them when they're laying on the ground and they're wide open, they run right over them. Because they're hunting how you've trained them. You throw them, they retrieve them. When it's laying on the ground, it doesn't necessarily equal the retrieve. That's their process of thinking. So what she needs to do is heel it out, drop it, look at it, okay, turn around, come back. Now, the reason I do this so similar to what I've been doing is because what I've been doing has been successful. Now I build on it. Add distance, add time, and all of a sudden my dog goes, this is a drill, this is a routine, that I run out, I pick the antler up, and I bring it back to me. But what I'm doing is I'm having her understand sometimes it's laying on the ground already. It still gets me the same retrieve as if he had thrown it. The reality is we're never going to throw them. So I get away from that as early as possible. I'm not big on marks with dogs. I don't throw many things because it creates dogs that are unsteady. That dog is beautiful right now. Love it. Don't touch it. Don't do a thing with it. But what you did was the fussing and the whining earlier. If you had said, I can't sit here, this is too much, and you got up and you left, that little dog would go, next time, I just do it a little bit more, and we'll get the hell out of here. But what happened is she said, boy, Mom's not giving in. We're going to be here a while. Let's get comfortable. Now, you can only ask, you got to figure out where that threshold is. What do we got here? Leapfrogging?
No.
Making me nervous. So these are all little mini lessons that have been built into this one. But so now what we're getting dogs to do by doing this drill is having them understand you pick it up off the ground. Now this thing floats. So in the summertime, as it gets warm, I'm going to use this. I'm going to pitch it in the water. I'm going to let them swim and get it, bring it back to me. Will an antler ever be found in the water? No. But what do dogs like? They like the water. What do I want to do? Connect this thing to positive things. In the summertime when it's really hot, I struggle to train. Early in the morning, late at night, that's it, or you'll overheat them. And it's real hard on their noses. So what I'm going to do is, in the water, as long as it's cool water, they can go out and make retrieves in the heat of the day, get great exercise, and the whole time I'm conditioning in the shape of an antler to equal a retrieve. Training dogs to shed hunt is easy. It's just bringing out natural instincts in them and connecting it to certain shapes. My dogs, duck dogs don't retrieve ducks because they like ducks. They retrieve ducks because we train them that ducks equal retrieves. And I've had guys argue with me. My dogs were bred to be a duck dog for 100. You know what the duck dogs originally did? They went and got fishing nets out of the water for fishermen. The Labrador Retriever was trained to bring in fishing nets. And then they trained them to retrieve the fish out of the nets. And then they trained them to get downed waterfowl in the sea. Why? What's the commonality here? Retrieving and water. They're water dogs. They like the water, and they retrieve things. I've got a shed dog that I just trained. He's in Texas now. He's a tracking dog, and he shed hunts. He, one day, a year and a half into his training, I'm walking down the road, and he's bringing me back pop bottles. Empty pop bottles. Bringing them back, and he's wagging his tail like it was a 90-inch shed. And I looked at him and I went, okay. I took it from him and put it in my bag. Kept walking. Now we're just out on a walk. All of a sudden, he comes back with another one. Okay, put it in my bag. Can't figure it out. Why all of a sudden, at a year and a half old, is this dog picking up pop bottles? So a couple days go by. The redhead over there, there's Cliffhanger. All of a sudden, she's giggling in the backyard. Oh, Jared, come here, look at this. We're around the corner. Here's our recycling bin. She's just trained him. Jared, watch. Throws a pop bottle. Newman picks it up, brings it right back to him, wagging the tail. I trained him, Jared. I said, good job, Fred. Let's not train that one anymore. Okay? So that quickly, that dog connected the idea of, I get the reward. The reward is the retrieve. The reward is not the antler. The reward is not the duck. The reward is the retrieve. And I've had guys argue with me and say, no, my dog's bred as a duck dog. It will retrieve every duck out there. I said, okay, let me paint a scenario here. It's November, terrible weather, icy, cold, freezing temperatures. The time that the duck hunting gets good. Oh, you can just see him, he's envisioning it. And I say, you're on a marsh with ice, and you wing a duck and it sails to the other side of the marsh. And you line your old duck dog ears and you send it. Will he make that retrieve? Absolutely. He'll go through hell and back. He's a duck dog. He loves those ducks. I said, okay? Now, same conditions. I take a stick and I throw it as far as I can into the same spot. Will your dog go retrieve that stick? Absolutely. He'll go right through it. Is it because he's a stick dog? Oh, I got him. He just shook his head. He goes, I get it. He's a retriever. Teach him to retrieve certain things. They'll retrieve anything. Be careful, because the dogs will retrieve anything, hot bottles included. Now, why is this shed worth something to him? Because he retrieves it, and because he understands I'm going to praise it for it. Now, why did I not correct that puppy for coming off of there? Because I missed the timing. But will I correct her for something? If she's looking at me right now and she jumps off, I will correct. I'll probably pick her up by the scruff of her neck, and set her down. Never a word. Words don't mean anything. I talk a lot. It's obvious. I really jabber. I talk a lot. How much talking did I do with the dog when we were working on heel? I don't know if I said a word much louder than good. No, good. And I slowed down. I don't know if you noticed, there was a time where I said, she's going too fast. I'm slowing down. How about balance? So my balance has to be there. So, shape, we get them to understand that this thing looks like an antler. We get them to understand that this thing equals a retrieve. And then we stop throwing it for them. And we go to these little trailing memories. And then what I can do is more trailing memories. And I can put them at distances. And I can run doubles and I can run triples. She's a bird dog. No, not you. No, my mistake. Here I am calling a dog with a whistle. What the hell is this trainer? Standing here calling a dog with a whistle, and there's a puppy there and a puppy there, and I'm expecting them not to come. Ellie, go ahead. Here. Come on. She goes, I don't want to. Come on. Ellie, come on. Good girl. Now, that was a duck dog thing. Handling, back cast, lefts, rights. Does it matter to her? No. Shape, she's going to go, those things equal retrieves, these things equal retrieves, certain things are going to equal retrieves. So the idea of just having them as sheds and go, oh, they're just going to focus on sheds. No. Tracking. Our tracking stuff is up there. Every one of my shed dogs tracks. Finds wounded deer. You know why? Because tracking is the easiest damn thing I can train them. It's almost all instinctive. It's me bringing it out of them. But in order for them to get good, you know what they need? A lot of experience. A lot of practice. That's the one that got the spaniel earlier. Everybody down! So shape first, then scent. I start adding scent to it. This is a liquid scent that we use. We have it in a stick form too. Red's got it in her bag. She's got all of her training gear there. That's her training bag, the pink one. That's her whistle. Let me hear that whistle, Red. Gotta make sure she's awake. Let's see it. Now where's the camera going? There you go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Good. Now, there's an art to the whistle. Give me a nice, sharp, crisp one. Her little cheeks go. Because she's blowing with her. You know how I blow it? My cheeks don't move. Gotta be crisp. Gotta be sharp. So, let's do this. That little fee over there. Love it. Okay. I put liquid scent. Smells like an antler. Looks like a tennis ball. Anybody here got a dog that likes a tennis ball? It's a drug, right? It's an incredible tool. Be careful. Don't use it too much. It overwhelms them. So I take this little scented tennis ball. What's the poodle's name? Mia. Watch her, Mia. We're coming in hot. Now, right there, Kit. Look at the mist. Right there. Where's the second bounce? There's a bounce right there. So I like these floors because you can see it. Now, envision this in the graphs. Now, pink tennis ball, there's a reason I use colors. There's almost a reason to everything we do when we're training. So think about it ahead of time, and it's really easy. But if you get into it and you go, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's my plan? You gotta have a plan. I have a plan every day. Things that we're gonna try to achieve. Sometimes it's just putting them on place. It doesn't always have to be this stuff. But the pink tennis ball in leaves is perfect. They sell blaze orange ones. Rochelle, you probably have a bunch of colors of them, right? So all these different colors work in different situations because it's color contrast. My dog, people say, oh, they don't see colors. I don't think they see colors, they see shades. So now I've got color contrast. When I go pink in the leaves, hard for him to see. Forces him to use the nose. Green tennis balls in the grass. Hard for him to see. So there's a reason why we use them. Red's got the green one there. So when we lay that trail, now envision this in grass. Rochelle, do you sell chuckets? Okay, chucket is a tool that I really like. Saves my arm. Getting old. So I take this little chucket and I skip it. Lays an awesome scent trail. Takes all sorts of little funny bounces. And all of a sudden, I take the dog over. Ellie, here. Ellie. Come on. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. She goes, I'm not sure I want to go through that. Find it. Let's go. Find it. Find it. Good. Did you guys hear that whistle pick up? As soon as she went there, I went, she went, oh, like a magnet. So I had to read her. If I hadn't whistled harder there, she'd have went right around here. Okay, so that's me constantly reading these dogs. Now, that wasn't so visual because she just ran. Now, I've made these retrievals. She just went and got it, picked it up. Now, did she smell it? Guarantee it. There's a scent cone this big there right now. So when you're outside, your scent cone is going to be this big, and then it's going to settle. And then if the wind's going this way, it's going to go this way. So you can put time to it as well. But I do little hunt drills with my dogs for scent. Tracking dog, I'll put blood trail on it. It's a scent that we make for training them for tracking. It's not just blood. People think, I'm not big on using one thing. Now, there's a million ways to train dogs to track. There's a million ways to train dogs, period. But there's some tracking guys that use just blood. I'm not big on that because if there's blood there, I don't need a dog. I can follow it myself. So I'm not going to exclusively train on blood. Now some guys are shoe guys. You guys are shoe guys. You're a shoe guy, right? I don't use shoes. I'm not against using them. I think you can train a dog to track a wounded deer using women's perfume. I didn't make that up. The president of the United Blood Trackers told me that. United Blood Trackers is a nonprofit group that we work with really closely. They fight for our rights as trackers. Great group. They're full of knowledge. A bunch of people that really know what they're doing in that club. Most of them are running little dachshunds, little short-legged dachshunds. We're using labs. I don't care what you're using. The shepherd dogs are phenomenal at it. So, but some guys use these scent shoes where they're only using interdigital gland scent on a deer. Now, each deer has its own unique scent, just like I have my own unique fingerprints. A deer has its own scent. That my dog's noses are so acute they can decipher and fight through that. You can have a dozen deer run across a fresh trail, and a seasoned dog will smell it and go, wrong deer, wrong deer, wrong deer, right deer, right deer, wrong deer, right deer, and stay on the right one. Tracking dogs are nothing more than good cops. They're super observant. They process all their information in their nose. They collect all this data along the way, and they become very, very good investigators. And in the end, they find something and we praise them for it. So I learned more about tracking dogs from a cop that trained dogs in New York City. He trained dogs that were used during 9/11. I met him at a show and he came up to me and he goes, we brought this stuff to the Archery Trade Association show. And he came up and he goes, you're selling stuff for tracking dogs, huh? Yeah. So he starts he's from New York. He's from New York. Nothing against New York people, but he's from New York and he's very New York. He's a little guy. He comes up to me, asking me, drilling me with all these questions. And I'm answering them the best that I can, and I'm going, wow, I didn't know his background. And finally, after a few minutes, he takes his finger and he punked right here, thumbs me right in the chest. I go, whoa, where I come from, we don't do that kind of thing, you know? And so he says, you pass. And he said, I'm sorry? He goes, you pass. Okay. So I passed what? He said, I'm a canine. I train canines for the cops in New York. I go, really? That was a terrible New York accent, but you get the idea. He was a cop trainer, canine guy. So I go, Okay. So he goes, we start talking. I used him as a resource for the next 6 months, and I learned more about tracking dogs from him because you know what he does? He trains dogs, shepherd dogs, to go through the streets of New York and track criminals based on dead skin cells. Like, we are exfoliating as we speak. Guess what happens when a criminal does a crime? Adrenaline spikes, adrenaline smells. My dogs can smell adrenaline, any of the dogs can. They exfoliate. And those skin cells are unique to that person. And his dogs were able to follow people through the streets of New York based on dead skin cells. Now, if he can do that, I can train a dog to go through a swamp after a gut shot deer. There's a lot of scent clues coming out of this deer. So, I learned a lot on the way deer smell or dogs smell and process scents. And that stuff, I think it's smart to know about it, but there's nothing we train about it. It's in them. We just bring it out. So the scent part of it, then the feel part for shed line is, so that same is true with the scent part. People always talk about, do those things really smell? Well, if you look at the base of this, see that dark spot? That's blood. These are fresh sheds. We do not want old cut off sheds. Because when you cut them off, you get rid of a lot of scent clues. You know what? You look really closely at this base. You know what I can see? I just did a post on our Facebook page of a close-up of it's from 2017. It's a fresh shed, and it's got hair, quite a bit of hair here. What do bucks do in the fall? Rub. Find a shed. It's got bark in there. What do bucks have for scent glands? Well, they got 7 scent glands. Forehead gland is one of them. What does that scent do? Deposits on this constantly. That's a unique scent to it. Anyone ever find it? This one doesn't have it, but I bet you on that rack there's one. Find these little pinholes on it, tiny little pinholes. You know what that's from? Coyotes. This is nature's antler chew, and this is the original. They'll chew on the tips of them. You know what they do? They mark them. They pee on them. I find them in the snowfall. I find them in the snow, and they're yellow spot. Coyote came up to it, marked it. Do that all the time. All those scent clues are associated to an antler. And so when I make this scent, I make it myself. I batch it myself. I used to literally fill it in my sink with a Kool-Aid pitcher and turn the caps on. I had blisters. We don't do that anymore. Thank God. We've outgrown that. I got a bottling company. I make every batch myself. And I send it to a bottling company, and they bottle it and label it for us. But I make it myself because there's dozens of scent clues in this bottle. I don't think you go, when it comes to tracking, I don't think you just use blood. I don't think you just use interdigital gland. I think you use all sorts of scent clues. Some of them are freshly broken twigs, because that's a scent clue. In the woods, when a deer runs through the woods, he breaks a limb, that creates scent. Freshly disturbed ground is a unique scent. That when my dog's going through, there might be no other scent clues, but there's that. That all has to be put together in the process of training to transfer to the field. So, the feel is the last part with our shed dogs. And the reason I put it last is because, remember that little 6-month-old dog? In another, where'd she go? Lost feel for my dog. In another month or two, she'll be about that age, where I pitched this for that dog and she poked herself and was completely turned off. Now I turned her around, I got her to pick him up. It was actually this dog's grandma. So that was the first dog we ever trained to do this. She's on some of our products. She's on this one. That's a picture of her. Old Finn. One of the best dogs I've ever trained. So when it took me months to get her confidence back up to pick one of these things up. And that is when I said there's got to be a better way of doing this. Now when I train bird dogs, I don't put them in a pen with a rooster and hope I get a bird dog out of it. It won't happen. It just doesn't happen. Too many things that are uncontrolled that will turn the dog off, and I'll have a problem for the rest. Then you get dogs, boy, they make nice family dogs though, but you just don't get to use them in the field. So I'm big on getting the most out of my dogs. So we don't start bird dogs out with birds. We start them out with a balled up sock. We go to a canvas bumper. We tape wings to it. We add scent to it. We use cold game, fresh kill game, live pigeons. Bunch of steps before my bird dog ever sees a bird. Shed dog, less steps, but I'm going to go shape first. At first I start out with a balled up sock. Then I go to the canvas puppy bumpers, these little fire hose bumpers. From that, I'm going to go to when she can pick it up. Now this little pup's just started picking these up. She's 18 weeks old. Everyone's in a rush. It's the one thing that I'm in a rush right now because I feel like, boy, we're really making this a long time. I got to wrap this up. It's the one thing that we have to realize as dog trainers. That dog right there could care less how long we're doing this for. She could care less how many days we do something in a row. She could care less how long it takes to get there. She doesn't care. We have to realize time doesn't matter. I get sick. I love social media because I think it's a really nice tool. We're training a dog. I've given more information away on training a dog up to 18 weeks than a lot of people get out of going to the puppy schools. I've had people send me that email. I'm not just saying that. People have emailed me that. They go, oh, this is great. This is such good information. But then I get people that go, the same people are very frustrated because their dog is not quite as far as this dog, or not quite as far as was something they saw. This dog was 10 weeks and was out shed hunting and finding sheds. I saw a post on sheddog.com. Well, here's the thing. The bad part about social media, the nice part about social media is it's really easy. It's very quick. It's a nice tool. I love it. It allows for me a lot of opportunities to connect to people that I never would otherwise. But the bad part about it is we really want to be like everybody else on social media. That dog did it at 10 weeks. Oh, mine's not as good. I guarantee you, you're seeing the highlight reels on social media. You're not seeing the crap. My dog broke off of its bed and took a pee on it one day. Nobody shows that on social media. But guess what? It happens. We just went live and showed my dog break 3 times. Oh, never, I'm not going to show that. My dog's steady as a rock. 8 weeks old, what next? So many people are in such a hurry. 1.5 years old, going to be 2 years old, this one, in August. It's going to be 2 years old, and it's her first season in the field. This will be her first season in the field. Now, most people will go, I'm taking about that first year, 6 months old, what can we lose? What could be the downside of that experience? The downside is the things you put into the dog so early are stuck with it for the rest of its life. If they're not prepared for it, you're going to have, let's say the dog lives till it's 14 years old. I think that's a nice average age for a good dog. 14 years, 6 months old, and you go, I want to get this season out of them. It's fall. You're going to get a little hunting out of them. So you take them to the field and you have issues. Because it's likely you do not have the foundation in at 6 months old. I don't have it in. Most people don't. You take them out, you got 13 and a half years of problems that are there. This one, she's going to be 2 years old. So I gave up a season where a lot of people would have said, I'm going to hunt her last fall. I gave up a season, but she's 2 years old. That means I got 12 years left. I'm going to have 12 really good years of hunting versus 13 and a half mediocre at best because I got that extra season out of it. Slow down. I'm so big on the lack of the, I have it. I'm guilty of it as well. Patience, and then more patience. Because all of this stuff takes time. None of this stuff gets fixed. That was a miracle. That was beautiful. Now take that and build on it. And you know what it's going to take? What's your name?
Tanya.
It's going to take Tanya being extremely consistent. Because it was easy for, like, we were all here to support and coach her through it today. We're not going to be tomorrow. So when the dog gets a little fussy and whiny and you go, ugh, what can I do with this thing? And get frustrated and move on from it. We're not there tomorrow to go, Tanya, be patient. Just let it rest. Let it settle down. And all of a sudden it settles and you go, wow, perfect. Build off that. So it really, patience, consistency and repetition form a habit. The thing about dog training is there's no fast way to do it. As soon as we realize that, I got a guy on, he's probably watching. I got a guy on Facebook that's been watching a lot. He came to a seminar in Milwaukee. We met him and his wife. Really nice guy. He's got a dog about the same age as Spry, so it worked out really well for him. But he's got all sorts of, he's got not all sorts of problems, but he's had problems come up. And I've talked to him about it, emails, all this stuff. Just lately, and his dog's doing pretty well, just lately, his dog, he's really frustrated because he goes, I just can't get that connection that you have with Spry. What can I do? It's just bugging me. It's bugging me and I can't break through that connection. I can't get the eyes the way you get them from Spry. What can I do? I said, well, first off, you have to stop worrying about the connection you have with your dog. Stop worrying about it, because if I can sense it in your email. You don't think your dog can sense it looking at you? He sent me a video. I said, boy, I thought the video was pretty good. He goes, I'm sure his feeling, his whole attitude went, whoa, he thinks it's pretty good. Then all of a sudden, so I said, forget about your connection and watch how quickly it'll happen. So about a week later, he sent me an email. He said, best training we've had yet. I just took her for a walk. I said, don't do anything new. Just work on the dog with heel. It's where the dog is. The dog's teething. So no retrieving. So do the same thing. Take this little dog and just heel with it, heel with it, heel with it, heel with it. Get good with it. And I said, and the other thing is, how much fun are you having with your training right now? Because it sounds to me like it's really a chore. It doesn't sound like it's a lot of fun. So I said, maybe these dogs want to make you happy. They sense it when we're not happy. So, I can't get your connection. Who wants to connect to you? You're no fun. So I said, have some fun with it. Enjoy it for once. And forget about the eye contact. Just do something. He sent me a message back last week. Had the best session I've had yet. I got eyes out of him. It was about the time I stopped thinking about his eyes that he looked at me. That happens more often than not. So the biggest thing I said a bunch of stuff today. Talked a lot, covered a whole bunch of stuff. We covered stuff that I didn't plan on covering. We touched base on a bunch of different things. It's overwhelming. All of this is overwhelming. If I went to this, and dogs ranging from 3 months to, what was our oldest one? 5? You had 5-year-olds? 2-year-old? 3? You had 3? So our oldest dog is 3. So from 3 months to 3 years, quite a spectrum. I don't know where you guys are with your training as far as your progress or any of that stuff. But we've got a whole bunch of people in completely different positions. Whoever has a dog that's 4.5 months old, like this one, don't say, ooh, that should be where that one is. I don't care if you're 4.5 years old and you're at this point. Pick up where that is and then build on it. So of all the stuff I said, figure out one thing. So you can't fix a major issue all at once. But if you've got a major issue and then you back up and you go, where is the problem? If the dog doesn't retrieve and he runs off, the problem is recall. It's not retrieving. Stop retrieving and fix your recall. If the dog recalls well, but drops the bumper before he gets to you, hold conditioning. Fix hold conditioning. If your dog doesn't sit, I can get the dog to sit all the time, but I can't take steps away from it and leave the room because he breaks. I can't put him on place and leave the room, he breaks. Will he stay on place when you're in the room? Get the dog to sit. So I had a person say, I can't get the dog to sit remote. So I said, here's the thing. So, sit. That was remote sit. I moved this far. And if you're good there, that's remote sit. Remote sit doesn't mean you have to go in the other room. Figure out where your dog is and then build on it. Baby steps. A to B, B to C, C to D, you get to Z. But you got to figure out where you are, figure out your plan, and then work towards it. So, of all the stuff I said today, it's so much, and it's so overwhelming. Don't go back and go, wow, I don't know where to start. Just pick a problem. Pick one thing that you're struggling with, reverse engineer it, and I call it plugging holes. You got a bunch of holes. Fill one in at a time. Fill one in at a time. Fill one in at a time. All of a sudden the road's nice. But you can't go through with a paving machine and pave the whole thing at once, not with the dog. You got to fill in one little hole at a time. One little hole. Because the hole here will help you get to the next one. And then the next one. And then the next one. Next thing you know, people ask me, when's your dog's finished? Never. And as soon as you realize that and go, they're never done, where's the rush to get to the end? You're never going to get there. Enjoy the process to get there. So a lot of stuff. Nobody left. We picked up a few throughout the thing. So I look at that and I go, that's success in my books. So I appreciate you guys putting this much time into a Saturday. It was raining out, so that helped me. But anybody questions? Because I'm sure there's questions, and I think that's important. Anybody got questions?
Is this something that you have to start as a puppy, or like we have a 2-year-old dog that's never been trained?
No.
Does it all whatsoever?
Exactly. So her question is, have to be a puppy or not? No. But wherever you are, you figure out where the holes are and start filling them in. This DVD right here, this is a puppy DVD. I got 3 DVDs. Again, I'm not trying to sell you on them. She does offer them, and I think she has a discount today. No. So, 3 DVDs. I did these 2 first. Game Recovery and Shed. These are the DVDs that I came out with. Gundog Magazine came to us, said, we've Googled it, we've looked into it, you're the guy we want to do these DVDs with. Deer dogs. We do a segment on North American Whitetail. It's called Developing Your Deer Dog. How do you do a dog training seminar on a whitetail show? because now it's accepted, the idea of shed dogs and tracking dogs. Well, it makes perfect sense. So Gun Dog came to us and said, we want to do these training DVDs. So I did them. It was awesome. I couldn't afford to have a production company. Said we needed to do a DVD. We knew it for years. We couldn't afford to do it. They wanted to do it with us. They're a great name. We partnered with them. We did the DVD together. So we do shed and we do game recovery. They're the #1 and #2 selling DVD within the first year of them being out. So they came back and they said, we want to do an advanced. I put a lot of time into those. Put a lot of thought process. It was nice. They gave me the ability to storyboard it any way I wanted to. They came and they produced it with us. So I thought there was a lot of good information in there. And so they came back and they said, we need to do an advanced version. They're selling really well. And I said, well, it's flattering, I appreciate that, but I think what we need to do, because a lot of people sent me a response and said, I love the video, but the questions were, my dog's not quite there. I start out with an 8-week-old puppy in these DVDs, and I work through about a 6-year-old dog. But even though I'm starting out with an 8-week-old puppy, in the shed one I'm talking about retrieving, I'm talking about avoiding some bad habits with retrieving. It's shed stuff. Talking about shed training, the shed training process. We go through trailing memories, we go through loop memories, we go through all these different drills, basketball drills. They're like my ball handling and my passing and my shooting, but it's a shed training. Bunch of drills to teach a dog to shed hunt in that DVD. But in order to do them, you have to have a dog that can heel, sit, stay, come when I call you. And most people responded back and said, how do I get that stuff? Because I love the DVD, but I can't do it because my dog doesn't do those drills. So I said to Gun Dog, I said, let's do this. I'll do another DVD, but we're going to go back. We're going to do a foundation DVD because that's where most people struggle. Maybe leave their windows open? Chris got me. So this DVD, I did it last year. We just released it. It's 2.5 hours. They were against the idea of making it this long. These ones are an hour apiece, and they said, you pushed it. You pushed the distance on it. Like, that's as long as we can make them. And I said to them, I challenged them a bit. And when they wanted to do the second one, I said, I'll do it, but we do it on my terms. They said, okay, we'll do it. 2.5 hours. And it's heel, sit, stay, and come when I call you. A little bit of place training, a little bit of tying out. That's in there. That's it. But it's 2.5 hours. And the reason it's so long is I said to them, here's what I think is missing. If people buy it, I get it. If you're a TV show, you have 22 minutes of footage. You have 8 minutes of commercial. You got to fit a lot of stuff in 22 minutes. So it's got to be quick and fast. If we do a developing your deer dog segment, it's got to be 2 minutes or less. Like, we take up a big percentage of the show at 2 to 3 minutes. So I can only cover so much in 2 minutes. So when we did that, I said, I'll do it, but we do it on my terms, and we're going to do it so that it takes a while so people really see. If you watch something and it's 3 minutes and it's produced really slick and start to finish, then you go and you do it with your dog and you go, doesn't work that way. Place training. I use an 8-week-old puppy for the very first time. It takes over 10 minutes. It's a chapter on place training. And all you do is watch a puppy jump off and me put it back. And jump off and me put it back. And jump off and me put it back. And jump off and me put it back. It gets pretty boring. But here's the thing. You bought the DVD. If you're watching TV, you might change the channel. You're not changing the channel. You bought the DVD. Why not give them that information? That was my argument. They said, well, all right, we'll try it. This one is their #1 selling DVD. So this one I think is really good because if you don't have this, you can't have this. So 2-year-old dog, I've had a lot of people say, it's a puppy DVD. I don't have a puppy. I don't care how old it is. Don't let the name fool you. Starting points are starting points. If I'm teaching let's say kindergartners are about when we start teaching them basketball. I guess when basketball forms. We have these little leagues, bitty ball leagues. Kindergartners, we start teaching them how to dribble. We start teaching them how to shoot, all that stuff. So in order for me to teach a kindergartner to play basketball, I teach the basketball skills from the start. If you're 30 years old and you come to me and have never played basketball before and say, I'd like to learn the game of basketball, I say, okay, we'll teach you. Where am I going to start with a 30-year-old? I'm going to start teaching them how to dribble with the right hand, then their left hand, then pass, then all the drills, the same stuff that I train the kindergartners. The dog is the same thing. Take them to the beginning. The problem with the old dog is, nice part about it is, they're a little bit older and they usually go a little quicker, physically. The bad part about it is you have 2 years of habits, and they might not be good. In order to get the good ones, you might have to train the bad ones out. Will it happen? Can it happen? Yes. Does it take time? Yeah. What do we got going on here?
Sorry.
No, no problem. So, yes, you can do it with an older dog. But you know what it'll take?
Patience.
Patience. Beautiful. Great answer.
Because you talked about, dogs walking people.
Mhm.
That would be key.
Yeah. So first things first, before you do a drill, just establish yourself in the pack. Before I can do a drill with any dog here, I have to have them understand that I'm the leader. That's the most important part. Dogs look for leaders. If they don't find one, they become one. They're wired that way. She's probably going to go to the bathroom. I can just feel it and sense it. Her unsteadiness, or just got to go to the bathroom. That's her sign. I trained her right at the right moment to do that. No. So, good question though. Anybody else get a question?
My dog, we got her when she was 5 weeks old. She came from a puppy mill or something out in Texas.
Yep.
So, she didn't have much training to start with. She's exceptionally smart, but really, I don't know how to. With all our other dogs, we did where we lay them on their back and hold her hand on her chest, and it immediately stopped all bad behaviors.
Sure.
Within a couple of times, it worked really well.
It's a pack thing.
She refuses to accept
Yeah, so
authority.
she's super ready to be a leader. She's wired to be a leader. Some
Yeah.
are more wired than others.
Yeah.
So just keep going.
I really, for her to understand it, she understands what you're asking, she just refuses to do it.
Yeah.
As a general term.
Well, leaders don't. The employees don't tell the boss a lot what to do.
Right.
Right.
I guess my question is how do I overcome that?
Yeah. So one attempt has been the idea of flipping them over on their back with the sign of submission and holding your hands on them. That's one way, but it's not working.
Right.
So every time she wins, she simply reinforces the fact that I am the leader. I am the leader. We need more tricks than that one. So how big is the dog?
Yeah, she's about 40 pounds.
40 pounds. So that's good. If it was a 100-pounder, we may have physical challenges. But so that's easy. It's a combination of all sorts of things, and it's a cultural change. Right now, that dog's built a culture and established itself in a pack, and every day it establishes it more and more and more. Things we're going to have to change, and we're going to have to be extremely consistent across the board. So, how's your feed? I like using feeding times, as major parts of the dog's day. Do you free feed or do you do it
No,
regimented?
she gets fed twice a day.
Beautiful. That's going to help. On schedule.
Yep.
Who feeds?
That's generally kind of a house thing.
Okay.
It's supposed to be the kids, which means it's
What's the
mostly me.
feed? It's typically the kids, so it's the kid's job.
Yeah.
Good. How do the kids feed her?
She's got a bin right by her dog food.
Yep.
Pour it in there.
So go get the food, pour it out. Dog sits and waits for you to do it, and as soon as you're done, it's in there to eat.
Yes.
So it's got you trained. It's got the kids trained pretty good to cater to its needs when it needs
Yeah.
its food. So that to me paints the picture of, hey, I'm the boss. Let's get this going. Food's here. I'm ready to eat. Thank you. Go ahead. Go about your day. I'm good. You've done your job. Like that's completely feeding this procedure of leadership. Her being her or him.
And it's a her. She literally goes and sits by her dog dish and hangs her whole head down and makes herself look like the saddest, most destitute dog in the world until you feed her.
Got her figured. Yeah, you guys figured out pretty good. So what I would do is, does she get excited about feeding?
Yeah.
Or does it become?
No, food's a major motivator.
So what I would do is I would do what I did with that puppy.
Okay.
I'd get the bowl of food out, and I'd ask the dog to do some things.
Yeah.
Sit. Does it sit and stay pretty good?
I was working on it and it was doing pretty good.
Okay, so we're going to reverse engineer it. So now we're going to get into some sit and stay work. So first off, we're going to start out with pup. We get the bowl of food, sit. What's her name?
Gracie.
Gracie, sit. It's going to be in the same spot every day to start out with,
Okay.
but not where you've been feeding her. We're going to
Okay.
change this.
Okay.
So you can leave the food there. You can go get the food and everything, and the pup's going to look at you like, what? This
Yeah.
is. Wait a minute. No. Put the food in here. This is how we do this. No, Gracie. Culture change.
Yeah.
We're changing things. Bowl of food. Pick it up. Go to another spot. Gracie, sit. Gracie sits. You go to set the food down. If she moves, pick the food back up. Nope. Until she sits and you can set the bowl of food down. Okay, Gracie. You tell her when it's time to eat.
Okay.
Before you do that, you're gonna eat. Who's your kid? How many kids you got? Bag of chips. You got chips in the house?
Oh,
Cookies, treats, whatever. Before you feed the dog, you're gonna go get the bowl of food. Dog's gonna sit. Gracie, sit. Bowl of a couple chips. You eat a little bit in front of the dog. Wait. Then you're gonna go through the routine. The leader always eats first.
okay.
So we're gonna eat before we feed the dog.
Oh, okay.
Every meal you have, are you able to have meals as a family?
Yeah.
Pup's gonna sit and watch the meal. She's gonna eat after you. Dog's gonna eat after. We're changing everything in this dog's life to go, holy cow, they're more important than I am. So feeding time is gonna be an easy way. At night during watching TV. Ellie, come here. Ellie's real submissive.